Welcome to the fourth Amazing Race 26 recap episode of the You Are Team Number podcast. My name is Michael Harmstone, and joining me is the guy whose third favourite passion in life is podcasting, Logan Saunders.
Afternoon.
Bit of a Survivor reference there for you. And the one Australian louder than both Jared and Tyson, Ben Powell.
Howdy.
And a reference to the Cat and Jesse podcast there. As with all our shows, we're live for the next hour and a bit, so please get in contact with us with any comments you have on this episode. If you're watching on Google+, you can use the Q&A. If you're watching on YouTube, you can post comments underneath the video. And, of course, you can tweet us using the hashtag yatncast, which is visible when Ben and I are on the screen. So,
also follow me on Twitter. I'm
yes.
so close to 200 followers.
We did mention it last week. You've decided for some reason to change your Twitter handle.
Oh, right. I never got that.
Yeah.
Never mind. Wait, did I get that?
Yes, I did send you the overlay, Ben.
Fine.
It's at Ink1Y anyway.
It's too early to worry about that. Anyway, episode.
Yeah. What do we think of this episode?
I loved it.
Yeah, it was the strongest one of the season, I would say.
One of Amazing Race 2 flashbacks.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good thing.
Exactly. And we had a lot of ridiculous tasks as well, which was nice. I like a ridiculous task.
You mean ripping apart motors to find discarded pieces inside isn't average in your life?
I'm more thinking about the random visit to a cat cafe. Why? It is honestly.
It's a sign.
It's honestly like they flicked open a Lonely Planet guide and went, a cat cafe. That sounds interesting. Why don't we do that?
Or it could be a sign for what they're going for in season 32.
Which is, dare I ask?
The return of the three amigos, obviously.
Well, yeah.
Where Eddie wins and finally achieves his dream of opening a dog bar.
A dog bar? Wait a bit, Bethany Hamilton there. She's dreaming of opening a dog bar. Because she's inspirational.
I do it better. Back off. I do it better. That's my turf.
Back off, young man.
Don't boss me around, lady.
Back off, young man, of course, a reference to the Guido cast there. So, previously 9 teams travelled from Nagano in Japan to Phuket in Thailand. Holly and Jonathan fell behind. Ali and Steve crashed on the wave machines. Blair and Haley clashed with each other. The men got in touch with their feminine sides and then danced for their clues. Mike and Rochelle won the leg, and Holly and Jonathan were saved by a non-elimination. Yay.
Also, Matt and Ashley proposed.
Yep, also Matt and Ashley proposed, but that was not mentioned in the entire intro, which is hilarious.
Yes, it was, wasn't it?
No, they didn't mention it in the previously on segment at all.
I even wrote it down right when that happened. I'm thinking, they must not make it to the end if probably the biggest event for them isn't even mentioned in the previously on segment.
Even better, the first reference to it in the episode was the fact that their title actually changed in the credits. Which is a side thing that I went, need to find that out, because that's actually quite interesting. Because it's the first time that a team name or something like that has changed. Usually the only thing they change is the like images of them doing tasks that occasionally appear.
Well, they've never really had a chance to do that before, have they?
No, but I mean, this is, as far as I know, the first time it's ever happened in Amazing Race history where they've actually changed something properly in the titles.
Yes, but it's also the first time in Amazing Race history where they've actually shown the relationship in the titles, isn't it?
True.
I like how the relationship.
Not much of an accomplishment.
Go on, Logan.
I like how the relationship titles are just all the exact same this season. Yet this is the first season where they choose to do that, where all the teams are pretty much the same except for Matt and Ashley. While in the past, you would have had a whole variety of different relationships between teams.
Yeah, I mean, the only time that I think we've ever seen something additional in the titles was in Amazing Race Australia versus New Zealand with the what country they're from appearing as well.
Which is reasonable enough.
Yeah. So, teams must now fly to Bangkok and find Wat Yanawa to find their next clue. Caution, speed bump ahead. And Blair really doesn't care anymore. He even admitted it.
Because he's an asshole. Wah, wah.
I know we are going to get on to the subject of the entire internet vilifying both Haley and Jenny. Hashtag sneaky Asian. But yeah, Blair really didn't come across that well in this, for want of a better term. So we had Mike and Rochelle, leaving at 3:26 a.m. Sorry, Blair and Haley at 3:51, Jelani and Jenny at 3:52, Laura and Tyler 3:54, Ali and Steve at 3:58, Matt and Ashley at 4:01, Bergen and Kurt at 4:02, Jeff and Bracky at 4:03, and then sort of halfway through the episode, Holly and Jonathan at 7:01 a.m.
It was like the reverse Jeopardy episode this week, where instead of Kristen being all alone in the victory circle there, while the others were miserably losing at the bottom and nowhere to be seen, Harley and Jonathan are alone miserable at the bottom, while everybody else is on top and are front runners.
Yeah, I don't think there was much tension in this episode over who was going to be going home, but at least they made up for it with completely ridiculous tasks. So Jaylani and Jeff also clashed over the taxi when they got to Bangkok, which put them both in lovely situations. But it was Laura and Tyler who were the first to the clue box, which is our first 3-part detour. It's water or wheel.
Interesting choice.
I
like the throwback to confusion now, confusion later.
Yeah. So in both detours, teams must choose a mode of transport, either long-tail boat or tuk-tuk, and complete 2 different tasks on their way to the next clue. So in water, teams must first travel to a market and eat a 100-year-old egg each, and then they must travel to a temple and make an offering to receive their next clue, whilst avoiding being pepper sprayed. And in wheel, teams must first travel to a snooker club and put a single red ball between them. Then they must travel to a cat cafe and feed the cats to receive their next clue. So which one would you have chosen?
Wheel, water.
Yeah. I think water is probably the better choice.
Not even considering the stops along the way. It's just like, you'll probably get to travel in a tuk-tuk for the rest of the leg in Bangkok. You're probably never gonna get to travel on water taxi.
Yeah. It's.
I would agree with that as well.
Yeah, I think the water taxi was much cooler, but also then you have to do the gross food eating.
The first 5.
Yeah, then you have to do the gross eating task as well.
Dead meat market 3-year-old egg would probably be my Achilles heel on the Amazing Race. As just speaking as a vegetarian, that would just be the absolute worst case scenario, because I find the smell of meat to be disgusting, and I don't really like to eat 100-year-old eggs every day either.
Logan has obviously never been around bacon. And
I stay 3 degrees or more away from bacon.
Yeah, bacon is the only thing that can break vegetarianism. Fact. And in their speed bump, when they eventually get there, Holly and Jonathan have to make a grasshopper origami out of water reeds to receive their next clue.
Yay, speed bump with skill.
Yeah. I know we talk about this every single leg that has a speed bump in, but actually not the worst speed bump they've ever had. Logan is coming up to that one, or a contender for that one, in his blog. In the next leg.
Yes, I would say the grasshopper one may even be a contender for one of the best speed bumps we've ever had.
Yeah, I mean, Canada had some good speed bumps.
Australia had a speed bump.
Yeah, Australia didn't have a good speed bump at all. And in a terrible place on a terrible leg as well. So, well done, Australia. Kudos to you. As I know is.
But by US standards, this was a good speed bump.
Yeah, this was, I'd say, in the top third at least of speed bumps. I've never done an official ranking of speed bumps, but it's up there. in their 15th season of having speed bumps. It's not the worst one they've ever done. So, gold sticky star to the producers there.
Kill.
Yeah. So, as we mentioned, if teams want to do water, there's only 5 boats available. And
Blair and Haley found out the hard way.
Yep, and Haley also said that when she gets angry, she actually performs better. So I'll take her word for it. So it's
good thing she got Blair as a partner then.
yeah, because he makes her very angry, and you won't like her when she's angry. Haley smash. I would like.
I like how the word teamwork is out of their vocabulary because Blair's like, I'm going to come up with this new strategy where only Haley makes decisions, and then Haley makes a decision and says, "No, Blair, you decide." It's like the idea of those two working together just completely is lost on them altogether. That's what's ridiculous to me. Apparently, they can't do communicative input on decisions.
I know that this is blatantly obvious to guys like us who study the sort of production and that sort of thing, but obviously most of the blind dates are there to wind each other up. I'd say of the 5 blind dates, only 1, which is Jeff and Bracky, were actually done with any thought for, these two might get along. Jeff and Bracky are obviously going to be dating at the end of the season. I don't think there's any doubt on that. But the other guy...
That could just be a 12-round stand.
Yeah, true.
In the defense of the teamwork thing, it's like, well, the point of teamwork on the race is to cover each other's weaknesses. But I think the problem there was that neither of them had any idea what they're doing in a busy Asian metro.
Yeah, I think they both have the same glaring weakness, which is communication. They are not very good at communicating with each other. Without one of them going, "No, you've done it wrong."
I mean, without Haley pointing out Blair did something wrong.
Yeah. Without one of them doing something wrong, and then without Haley pointing out that he's done something wrong.
And then infuriating every woman over 30 everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Because obviously, if a guy did that, then he'd probably be described as strong-willed or smart or something like that. And a woman is, when she does that, is a bitch.
Bossy.
Yep.
Good old Khalees reference.
Might trick me once.
Sorry, your references go over my head sometimes.
It's a hip-hop reference. Khalees is a female hip-hop artist known for all of the milkshakes, bringing the boys to the yard. Bossy was her other track.
What about Trick Me? An acapella.
I'm not as into Khalees as you are, Michael.
I'm not sure if you grasp this. I'm not sure if you grasp this, but I'm a 21-year-old white boy living in hippie country. I don't listen to much I'm also a millennial, so I don't listen to much other stuff.
Yeah, and I'm a 21-year-old white guy living in the UK, and I still know Khalees. And how her milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, "It's better than yours." Damn right, it's better than yours.
I also listen to good music, so.
How dare you cast aspersions on Khalees? She's on her time.
How can I fit Khalees and her other hits? Never mind.
Trick Me, acapella. Yeah. Other than that.
Khalees has taken away Harley and Jonathan's valuable airtime on this podcast. How dare you, Michael?
To be fair, I think Harley and Jonathan have taken Harley and Jonathan's valuable airtime away from this podcast. Given how...
Dude, stay away from them. I like
they only
them.
have themselves to blame.
Yeah, given how, non-entities they were.
I liked them. Back off.
Back off, young man. One item of massive note for this detail, another record I think in the US season was set. Our first cameraman sighting. When Jeff and Bracky were on the way to the Cat Cafe, you can see the tuk-tuk quite visibly with the sound guy and the cameraman on it, but you can actually see the cameraman. What the hell?
I only noticed the guy's mustache.
Yeah. He really does have weird facial hair, but yeah, you can see the cameraman at the back of the tuk-tuk, because they immediately then switch to an image of them looking up at Bracky.
Yeah, you can see the cameraman in a lot of the tuk-tuk rides.
Yeah, as far as I know, that has never been as blatant. It's one of the most blatant cameraman sightings we've seen in the US version, at least.
Well, they probably couldn't avoid it, so.
Not sure, actually. They could have picked a different spot.
Okay.
So Laura and Tyler completed the detour. They chose water first. Then Matt and Ashley, Bergen and Kurt, Ali and Steve, and Mike and Michelle. And then the teams doing wheel, Blair and Haley in 6th, Jeff and Bracky in 7th. Jenny was scared of cats as well. Jelani and Jenny in 8th. And then about 15 hours later, Jonathan and Harley.
Cats.
Was it a bit mean to have a cat cafe task when Jonathan is allergic to cats?
A little bit. Also, when Jenny's afraid of cats.
Yeah, but afraid and allergic are two very different things. Afraid makes funny TV. Allergic just gives us images of Jonathan sneezing.
Didn't really make a funny TV. Either way, it's still not the weirdest fear I've heard on reality television.
No,
there was this one girl in America's Top Model who was afraid of people or animals that are dressed up as other things.
Okay, that's weird.
She would hate that Simpsons episode where the guy looks like a kettle or a jack-o'-lantern.
Does that mean that she hates going to theme parks and stuff, where you have giant mascot characters?
I think so. It's been a while since I've seen the episode, but basically, the people who are judges and people who are photographers and stuff who are supposed to be coaching her through this hard time really didn't care. So they just sort of pretend it's your mother. Or something. Just really weird advice.
Yeah, that just sounds weird, Ben.
Mm.
You might have good music taste, but you have crap taste in TV sometimes.
No, I don't have taste. I watch it all.
Yeah, exactly. And you've still not started watching Dutch Mole yet.
Well, I don't speak Dutch.
Yeah, they've English subtitles. If I can get through it, you can. And also,
I don't read. Reading's for nerds.
The Australian way, kids. Welcome to Australia. We're reading stuff.
I learned it from you.
What, reading? Is reading not taught in Australia anymore?
What about that snooker?
Yeah. Snooker. I would be terrible at a snooker task, not gonna lie.
I wouldn't. I'm awesome at pool.
I am terrible at
pool. All
pool.
I could think of was the increasingly poor decisions of Todd Margaret with the snooker tasks. I want to hear the American pronunciation just absolutely butcher the word and see David Cross get beat up once again by a British pool player.
He just blew himself. Daddy needs to get his rocks off.
Andy and Jenna from Amazing Race 17 would have done well at the snooker task. Just gonna put that out there.
The one task in Amazing Race history that Andy and Jenna would have survived a race in.
Yes.
You slightly bagged on Andy and Jenna.
To be fair, they got through the roadblock where the only instruction was not to hit yourself in the face with a watermelon.
Very true. But at least the recipient of the watermelon to the face doesn't think that you and I are female, Ben. You didn't really think we were going to get through the podcast without me mentioning that, did you, Logan?
No, I figured the reference would be dropped sooner or later.
Yeah, I thought it was too obvious to do it in the intro, and, the Survivor reference is more fun.
Speaking of females, what about Haley at the Catterday Cafe?
Yeah.
You would think that's
She was
pretty
at
much
home.
every Saturday at her house is probably a bunch of cats hanging around her.
To be
I
fair,
can just picture it right now.
Haley
long
does
do you
call
think-
Saturday Catterday.
How long do you think Haley's been single for, Logan?
Forever?
Like I said, back off the Bethany impression.
we did agree in the previous podcast that she was a bit of a mad cat lady, didn't we? She's most likely to
Yes,
have about
and
50
that definitely came into play here.
So after teams complete their respective side of the detour, they must travel by taxi to Patamwan Siangong for the roadblock. Yay! And the roadblock is...
We must mention, though, that Matt and Ashley did twice as much as they needed to do for the detour there. Where they ate an additional egg that had zero relation to the task whatsoever.
And they would have had to pay for that as well.
They did have to pay for it. They got handed change back before they were eating the egg.
Yeah. So that's even worse for them. They actually had to pay for it.
I'm surprised they didn't throw up. Because if you had to eat a century egg after an egg that you already thought was disgusting, and you have to eat an egg in a much worse environment, I would probably vomit within about 2 seconds of that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm terrible with that sort of eating task anyway because I have a bit of a gag reflex, but
Just lightly temper the taste with some pepper spray.
That's later on.
Distract the pain with another pain. Classic psychological technique.
Is there anything else to say about the detour before we start banging on the roadblock?
Was that a pun, Michael?
Maybe a little. So, in the roadblock, one team member must take the transmission off an engine and find a screwdriver hidden inside. Oh, those careless mechanics, which contained their next clue and potentially a day-night card, if you're lucky.
Did you get a photo of the careless mechanic so we can name and shame him?
No, it'll just have to be a careless whisper on our wind. I feel so unsure as I cut you up. I wonder what's that nerve for.
Wonder if that mechanic still has his job. I mean, that's very dangerous to be hiding a screwdriver inside of another vehicle part.
I know they said that it was an apprentice mechanic, but he left 9 screwdrivers in 9 engines. That is pretty careless. I mean,
maybe an apprentice mechanic weighs about as much as a celebrity apprentice in the Celebrity Apprentice seasons.
Maybe it was a poker player who left it in there. That's beyond white trash, darling. You're a poker player. I've met you people in Vegas.
Could be.
They don't have any last names. It's blood money. Ben, have you never seen that Celebrity Apprentice scene? Because it is a modern TV classic. And I will have to source it for you after, if not.
Does my face look like I've seen that? I have no idea what you're talking about.
I am so disappointed. I've never been more disappointed than you of you before than this moment, Ben. And this includes when you accidentally sent me the wrong file on Wednesday.
I sent you the right file. You just had the wrong tools.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did.
The video only had your side of the conversation. You didn't.
You opened it with the wrong format, so.
I didn't. I opened it as a .mov to check whether I was right before telling you.
Well, it works for me, so you're wrong.
No, I'm not. I'm never wrong. So we had Tyler, Bergen, Steve, Matt, Blair, Jeff, Jelani, Rochelle, and Jonathan do the roadblock.
Bill was very awkward during the roadblock explanation.
In what way?
He was wearing a weird hat, and then when he was talking about this, when he opened up the screwdriver and explained the roadblock, he said, "Talk about a romantic roadblock." It was like a freaking children's cartoon with the way he just turned to the camera, and it just seemed so rehearsed rather than his usual explanations, which are smoother and a lot less corny. That's for sure.
Also, do you think
It's like he was elbowing the TV screen.
Do you think that we had an unaired task this leg? Because this is the first task this season that we didn't have an on-air or sort of location report from Phil.
Maybe he just didn't want to be around anybody else this round.
Yeah, probably.
Probably didn't have enough time, perhaps, to get to the.
Yeah, I mean, it was
stop.
It was a.
Or he had a place after the pepper spray incident.
Yeah, it was a fairly short round, wasn't it?
But it's still good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was a good short round. I think of it in the same way that I think of the Amazing Race 17 round that Logan's just finished blogging about. Yeah, it was a short round, but at least it was a good short round.
Which one? Explain to the viewers.
The second Ghana round from Amazing Race 17, which ended with teams having to refurbish a school during the pit stop.
Thank you. Calling people in is important.
Well,
also, my theory for the sudden lame joke in the explanation is Alan Wu is finishing payment with a voodoo priest right now.
Voodoo priest. Come on, Ben. Think about it before you say things. It's obviously a voodoo priest.
Ah, right.
I'm disappointed.
You're also podcasting at night. I'm podcasting at 7 a.m.
Waking up in the morning, gotta refresh, gotta go downstairs.
You're 3 days late.
Gotta have my ball, gotta have cereal. 2 days. Time is ticking on and on. Everybody's rushing. Duh!
Can we talk about Kurt and Virgin?
Yeah. Yes, we can.
Kurt is excelling expectations. Virgin didn't think he would do too well, but so far Kurt has kept up with the old Burge.
Yeah, I mean, it's no secret that I think Bergen is one of our favourite racers this season purely because of how much he keeps talking to us on Twitter. But Kurt is keeping up, and they are doing a lot better than we expected them to. Because if you think 2 weeks ago we did expect them to be the next team out, and then Harley and Jonathan, screwed.
Well, they're just a case of like the producers of blatantly not actually pairing people up for dates on blind dates.
Yeah,
it's pretty obvious. It's pretty obvious they didn't look. We have this psychological profile for this Bergen. What's his face? We need to scale through them all to find the perfect match. Dun 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 dun. I mean, they just probably put it with the next TV worthy guy.
Which was, of course, Small Town Kurt.
Yeah.
Rich Small Town Kurt.
Yeah, rich Small Town Kurt. But if you think about it, Jaylani and Jenny were probably not put together as a love match, more as a potentially strong team match. Because they've not come together.
No, you go first. Sorry.
Yeah, they've not come in first for 2 legs now, but they're still number one by not much, but they're still number one in the average.
They're number 7. They're number 7 in placing though, and that's really all that matters.
Yeah, but they're still number one, and Laura and Tyler are somehow number 2.
Yeah, but it doesn't really matter. No matter if you don't win, because like aren't Rob and Emma the highest places from All Stars?
Yeah, they are actually.
Hilarious. And they came in 8.
Yes, they did. No, they're not actually. Oswald and Danny are.
Alright then.
So, do your research. To quote Scoopin. So, we had Laura and Tyler leave first, Ali and Steve in second, Matt and Ashley in third, Bergen and Kurt in fourth, Blair and Haley in fifth, Mike and Michelle, who was by far the MVP of this task, in sixth, Jeff and Bracky, Jaylani and Jenny, and then Hallie and Jonathan about 20 hours later.
Bethany Hamilton was proven wrong. A woman can work in a mechanic shop.
Exactly. And also, Rochelle kicked ass. if you think they got to the roadblock in 8th and left in 6th, but if they would have got in there probably in 3rd, they would have won this leg again easily.
I also
Did we
find
get a
I
screen-
like how
Sorry, go ahead.
you go. Okay, I like how they didn't actually like every time someone does something like inspirational, they always over work it in the race a lot, but like they barely even mentioned mentioned once that she was the only girl working that roadblock.
Yeah. Especially as Bethany Hamilton would have said that it was not a girl's place, as Logan said. So teams... Oh, sorry. Lauren Tyler won the day night as well. But, we all know how much airtime that's going to get in 3 weeks, so who cares? And it's
With Tyler, did we get a screen cap of him at the roadblock when he uses the power tool? I think he wet himself a little when he initially pressed the button down. It was like he's the opposite of Tim the Toolman Taylor, where he was not prepared for what was the power of the power tool he was holding.
I did not, but it did make me laugh when I saw some screen caps this morning. It was like, ooh, power tools. But yeah, yes. Tyler doesn't get how much.
Yeah. I wonder if he was already excited because the Jello shot from the 1,000-year-old egg, and also egging on his opponent Laura to try and eat the egg as well, that he was just so pumped up that when the power tool came, he was just really excited overall. But yeah, that was one of the more entertaining facial expressions of the round.
Yeah, the date night is a scenic river cruise at the pit stop as well, for the record. Wait, and also the fact that the next leg is in Germany means that the next date night is going to be the observatory one, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
The one already confirmed by CBS from the start of the season?
Yeah, the date nights we've had confirmed was the hot springs, the observatory, and there was one more that I can't remember. I'll have to.
Wait, so the next leg's in Germany?
Yes.
And the date night isn't a romantic trip to Auschwitz? Come on, we also have how popular it was in All Stars. I mean, though, everyone was having a great time in Auschwitz and All Stars.
Listeners, I'm just going to mute Ben forever.
Oh, talk about a romantic date night.
Anyway, the pit stop.
As Phil Hogan would say. Oh.
The pit stop is Loha Prasat, the Metal Castle. The last team to check in here may be eliminated, but yeah, you know what? It's a speed bump leg, of course they're going to get eliminated. And now to Ben's favourite bit of the episode.
I wonder if Mark and Abba have been to the Metal Castle.
That'd be the Rock Castle. Did I tell you that I met one of Thin Lizzy on Friday?
Who?
Fine.
I believe you mentioned it, yes.
Yes, I thought I did. I was just making sure.
What's a Thin Lizzy?
Thin Lizzy is a rock group, Ben. I'm not sure if the concept of rock has reached Australia yet.
Other than Ayers Rock.
Yeah, the Veronicas.
Who? I think the Veronicas are more of a who than Thin Lizzy, actually. Which is quite impressive.
I can't think of a more popular pop group populated by twins in the world.
What about Tattoo, the lesbian twins?
Are you just saying random words?
Do you not remember Tattoo?
You don't know who Tattoo is?
All the things you said, running through my head, running through my head, running through my head.
This is why this is an Amazing Race podcast and not a rock podcast, evidently.
You know how we have Malaysian ass for Eamon? I think we need to start Ben's musical education.
Yes, but how do you know which ones are me actually being genuine and which ones are me just screwing with you?
the fact that Australia doesn't
We'll
do
never
humour,
know.
the fact that Australia doesn't do humour means that you're probably not screwing with us. Alienating Australia, yay.
I've totally never been funny at all.
Anyway, as our resident social justice warrior, Ben, what are your opinions on people's comments about Hayley and Jenny?
Educate yourselves. Women are allowed to have opinions. Women are allowed to take control in social situations.
Going a bit Bethany
That sort of
Hamilton
thing.
again there, Ben.
Well, I didn't. Well, you dropped this on me. I didn't have a speech prepared.
Well, come on, you knew we were blatantly going to be talking about it because it's my favourite subject to get you worked up on. Is the casual fan base's response to Hayley, especially, but also any woman who does something strong or sneaky.
Well, the fact you're saying something, the fact you're implying I need to be wound up about it says it all, really.
But that's why we keep you as our resident Australian, is to get worked up at things, surely. So, in a complete miracle, Bergen and Kurt win the leg, somehow.
Yeah, because Tyler and Laura, because Tyler was too focused on talking about ladyboys, that he wasn't focused on getting to the pit stop, that they fell a few spots.
Yeah, they lost to the lady men, as Tyler would call them. And...
What?
Well, do you not remember Tyler's discussion last week on calling himself a lady man? These lady boys are about to see a lady man.
I remember that, but...
Yeah, we referenced it a lot last week. And also, Phil's obviously been playing video games at the pit stop, because he was very much channeling his inner Phoenix Wright. Objection.
Ha!
Good. You know, because Phoenix Wright is the only person in history points.
I was
Pretty
hoping,
much.
I was
Only
hoping-
famous person in history who points.
I was hoping he'd open his arms wide and be like, "You get team number one! You get team number one!" So I could do an Oprah reference, but, you know. And bring it out as
Phoenix
our...
Wright is better.
Yeah.
You know you definitely know your references are funnier when you explain them.
Shut up, Ben. Australia doesn't
No.
do humour, remember.
Auschwitz.
Wonder if Kurtenberg got first because they satisfied all 37 virtues of the Metal Castle. That's a lot of virtues to cover.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how...
It's one of the virtues. One must keep their child pageant's hair curly and bouncy.
Yes.
It will be interesting to see how far ahead they actually were. Whether it was minutes or whether it was, like, 10 or more.
Well, wasn't the second team there, like, when they were speaking?
Don't think so.
Yeah, it arrived. Yeah, the second team, whoever they were, arrived. Yeah, Haley
Blair
and
and
Blair
Haley.
arrived while they were still at the pit stop.
I don't think they did. I thought they were on the mat alone. So, as we said...
For a
Blair
few
and-
seconds.
Yeah, Blair and Haley were second, Ali and Steve were third, and Laura and Tyler were fourth, somehow. And Laura just likes being a winner. She's so disappointed.
Mm-hmm. She won a date night.
Yeah, she did. She won a scenic river cruise with Tyler with fireworks because CBS released the press image before the episode for some reason.
Well, it's going to be all the airtime they get next episode, that's for sure.
Yeah, sure.
They should be grateful for that date night. That date night is more valuable than first place for them, probably.
And Jeff and Bracky were in fifth, Michael and Michelle in sixth. Seventh was Jaylani and Jenny. Stay where you are, because they're coming in. Also, I'm not exactly sure whether Jenny knows what the phrase "ride off into the sunset" means. Because it usually means you've been eliminated.
Well, it depends what movie you're in.
Yeah, as a general rule, if someone's described as riding off into the sunset, they are probably leaving rather than, continuing on.
Yeah, but in True Grit, if the John Wayne rides up into the sunset after having won.
Yeah, but she's not talking about having won. She's talking about continuing on the race.
Well, continuing is the thing. Like off right after the sunset, continue.
That's more completion than continue, but whatever.
Are we discussing Western semantics on this podcast?
Yes, we are, because we're back on form and going on to completely random topics as always.
Michael's the one discussing semantics. I'm just the one correcting him.
Yeah, but I'm right, Ben. That's the problem. It doesn't happen very often, but I'm right.
You know about all those westerns they have in the UK.
Listen, we are closer to Western filming locations than you are, Ben.
I'll believe that. Oh, look, rocks.
Oh, look, Spain. Also,
you know what annoyed me about the roadblock?
What's that?
Is that all the teams were randomly referencing all of the cousins, uncles, brothers, parents, and sisters, and great-grandparents who were all car mechanics. Was that really necessary? How does being related to somebody who knows cars correlate with your own skill of dismantling a motorcycle?
It's obvious just blatant cross-promotion for Survivor Worlds Apart. They're obviously building up the blue-collar tribe.
Survivor Worlds Apart! Also, for the record, Ben, Urban Dictionary quotes Ride Off Into the Sunset as from a Western movie cliche in which the good guy who has arrived in a troubled town and solved whatever grave problem it was experiencing with bad guys gets on his horse and rides west in the direction of the picturesque setting sun. Quote, my work here is finished underlined, it's time for me to ride off into the sunset.
Finish as in a good finish, like winning.
No, finished as in out of the race.
After winning?
Not necessarily. Anyway.
Has a cowboy ever ride off into the sunset after losing everything?
His horse probably has.
I think Jet and Cord did. Jet and Cord
yeah, exactly.
Rode off into the sunset on a horse after losing on the Amazing Race 24.
High five, Logan.
But of course, Jet and Cord sucks, so we don't really need to talk about them further.
Jet and Cord, they suck at life. Matt and Ashley were 8th, and in a shocking turn of events...
Metal Castle?
Yes, we have to talk about that.
Go on, talk about it then.
Metal Castle?
They could yeah. So yeah, apparently, they get a showdown with Jay, Lonnie, and Lonnie and Jenny for second to last place there. Do you think that Jenny was a bit over the top with how competitive she wanted to be to not be second to last place? Like, I can understand the reason of wanting to beat out another team in case Harley and Jonathan magically catch up, but wasn't it a bit much to break off away from somebody you were working with right before the end of the leg?
Yeah, just a little.
Probably.
I suspect.
Funny, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was hilarious because I was like, they are not going to do that. That is amazing. But is it going to come back to bite them? Maybe.
That's like from the Amazing Race 7 playbook of pointlessly strategic moves.
Yeah, is it going to come back to bite them? Yes. Probably. And then in a shocking turn of events, the People's Princes, Harley and Jonathan, were eliminated.
And they get their own tie remix.
Yeah, they made such an impact on the season, but they're such a loss.
They got to meet the pit stop greeter.
Yeah. He's the first pit stop greeter who's not talked in a while as well.
Yeah, looked like a character from Majora's Mask.
No, instead of saying "Welcome to Bangkok, Thailand," he
backflips.
Yeah, he just backflips, as did Bergen and Kurt. But
Or a certain person from the Amazing Race 17 once again. I believe Connor also loved to do backflips.
Yeah, I love Connor and Jonathan.
Maybe he can do a backflip.
I can't.
I can't.
I cannot either. Dreams can, though. Dreams is another one who can do a backflip.
Well, dreams can
Dreams
come
is here?
true. Look at me,
Dreams
babe,
is
I'm
here?
maybe.
Is he in that black? Oh, never mind. I had a sense of myself, so.
I must say, I'm very disappointed that the immunity challenge that Dreams won at Final Four has not reappeared in Survivor again, because that's actually one of my favourite final immunities.
Cool. Anyway, okay, Harley and Jonathan. I actually kind of liked them in the last few episodes because, like, they weren't mentioning New Kids on the Block all the time.
Yeah, I mean, they were definite stunt casts, but I think unlike most
Really?
stunt casts, they probably applied.
No way.
Which is a
They were
rare
stunt
thing.
casting?
I know.
I can't believe Amazing Race would do that, especially 26 seasons in, and on a Friday night.
Stop being so serious, Ben.
Why so serious? I actually kind of
I'm not serious. I'm looping.
I actually kind of suspect that they probably applied, which is nice. Makes a change to see one team who actually applied.
I must say there was a new hashtag invented for Harley and Jonathan at the snooker task, where besides, Jonathan showing off his skills and being the new sharks on the block, that he taught us how to play snooker, where it's hashtag tap, not slam, when directing the red ball into the pocket.
Yeah.
Are they even trying? Or are they just, like, not looking at these things before they send them out?
Also, one thing that I did forget to mention at the start, Mike and Rochelle were described as the small town sweethearts, which is the hashtag they wanted, rather than truck stop love, which is the hashtag that they got.
It's also the name of the porno they filmed.
So,
You can't beat me.
Yes, I can. Still to come on the season. Please stop swearing at me, Ben. Still to come on the season. We've got push-ups, bikes, sand sledding, kayaking, zebras, helicopters, zip lines, and potatoes. Yay. Ben, you're
Am
not
I
muted
muted?
anymore. You can talk.
Thank you.
You do get a notification when I mute you and when I unmute you. So yeah, what do we think is going to happen for the rest of the season?
I don't want to discuss it because there's blatant spoilers in there.
Okay.
Yeah. A bit too much. I hate when CBS does that, because we saw that with Survivor Exile Island as well, where they had 4 weeks off for March Madness, and they said, coming up on the second half of this season, and just spoiling pretty much everything that happens up until the season finale. And so far with this season of Amazing Race, after the first episode, they already said, coming up on the next few episodes of Amazing Race. It's like, okay, they're giving away the next few episodes, whatever, we'll get past that. But here we are, 4 episodes in, and now we see everything that's gonna happen for the next 2/3 of the season. That's ridiculous. Why would they do that?
Next time on Survivor, Austin votes for Aras in the final tribal council. But how will this affect the game?
Yeah, I sort of understand the reason behind it purely because they want people to actually care when it comes back in 3 weeks, but it's not a brilliant thing.
Will this kill the ratings?
I'm not sure there's much to kill.
Can you really kill Amazing Race at this point? It's like you'll never stop Amazing Race. Have no fear, we've got seasons for years. How about a crazy race wedding and something happens?
It took me a while to catch on to the reference. Simpsons.
I was going to say I recognise it. I can't remember what it is.
Sorry about the clip show.
Yes, I don't think Lenny will be marrying Selma and Patty and Karen all together simultaneously.
It was Abe Simpson, you uncultured swine.
I thought.
Oh, sorry. Oh, correction. I stand corrected.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
Mo got a cell phone, Marge's a robot, and Bart got a bear. Oh yeah.
I kind of
Yes. Bart the Bear, Amazing Race 8, Bart the Bear is in Simpsons.
I kind of hope that the Wednesday trial this season pays off, and they actually keep it or put it on Wednesdays all of next season. Because not only will it kill certain people
That's
who,
not going to happen.
yeah, I know it's not going to happen, but not only will it kill the minds of certain people who have to recap it all, it's also not necessarily a bad thing for us.
Mm-hmm.
Also, one fun thing that did get pointed out on Facebook, is it a surprise that the first 3 teams eliminated were all pre-existing dating teams? We still have all 5 blind daters, 4 legs in.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
They're pretty much the teams that we expected
No.
to go, though, because, well, CJ and Libby and Jeff and Lida were the first 2 people we predicted would be out, and then we guessed that Harley and Jonathan would be out somewhere in the middle of the race. So far there hasn't really been too many surprises in terms of the boot order up to this point.
Well, we're still in the first third of the race. So Harley and Jonathan miss.
Yeah, and well, the thing is, currently the top 6 teams in terms of ranking, only Ali and Steve are the only pre-existing races actually there. 7th is Mike and Rochelle, and 8th was Harley and Jonathan, 9th Matt and Ashley.
Corinne Bergen will be disappointed when Ali and Steve will be eliminated. That's my prediction.
Do you really think Bergen and Kurt are going to last longer than Ali and Steve?
But if Bergen and Kirk go, who will Mike and Rochelle work with?
Exactly.
Have you noticed they're always working with any of the gay teams. It's pretty cool. Or,
Well, yeah. So, I would say any predictions for next week, but there isn't one next week, so...
I predict the show will be cancelled mid-season.
It is true, yep. We'll see. I think so. Right before it comes back on in 3 weeks, that it's probably going to be canceled. Well, we'll find out. There's a development going on at production. We'll get to that. Somebody's going to be reporting on that very soon.
Yeah.
Never mind.
So yeah.
I was making an obscure reference to a different reality show. Never mind.
So, we're back next weekend, aren't we, to do Big Brother Canada?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Seeing as though that starts next week on Monday. So the current plan the current plan for our 3 weeks off is to do Big Brother Canada preview next week, and then after that we'll see. So, thank you very much for watching and listening. We'll be back in a few weeks for Amazing Race Podcast. We'll be back next week for Big Brother Canada for yet another episode recap. If you enjoyed the show, and even if you didn't, please give us a like on YouTube. And if you want to see what we're rambling about this week, our Twitters are in the description below. Also, if you've not heard... Yeah, except for... no, Logan's Twitter is in the description below. It's just not available on the screen at the moment. Is that a log super wacky anyway? Also, if you haven't heard Ben and Michelle's amazing interview with everyone's favourite Kiwis, Kat and Jesse, the link is down there too. Please listen to it because it took me forever to edit it, so please. So, thank you again.
If you're not first, you're last.
Exactly.
And also, keep a look out for any more reviews coming your way from the Amazing Race Australia part of the yatncast.
Yep, and the American version as well, because, that could come back fairly soon. Maybe.
Coming soon.
What?
Something.
What? Won't be till after the next episode recap. Spoilers.